welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is my 1000th episode of the series. Yes, it took me 6 years to get this far, and here I am. This is also Doubleshot number. What number is this one? 894. Wow, 1000 episodes. It is something though, the fact that I've reached this far when it comes to this particular series. Especially since when I first started reviewing this series, when I started this series 6 years ago, I was in a completely different location. I was in my old bedroom when I started doing this 6 years ago. Yeah, where, and only the past year I've lived in basically this current house, but yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, people. And of course, I did do a few reviews at my brother's place a couple times. First time was a few years ago when the first time I visited him. Basically, their reviews. I did like a few reviews, at least one I can think of, at his actual house itself. I did another review later on when next time I visited him. I haven't done reviews up there since then. But I've done it in a few different locations. I've also done it when I lived in my old house. I actually did many reviews in my old house kitchen. And there was a reason for that. Because the Wi-Fi was a little better than it was in my bedroom at that point. Yes. And unlike my older videos, where my bed was behind me, because of a small bedroom, nowadays my bed is to my left, my right here. Well, basically to my left. Yeah. So you don't see my bed anymore. Nope. Yep. But this series was basically inspired by Chris Ventura from Dark Adventure C86. He had his own Comic Corner series. He basically sat in the corner of his room and just did reviews. I've also done reviews basically when I was doing this. Sometimes when I'm in my bedroom, I did like a couple different locations. One I did on my actual dresser, which is behind me. The other, of course, was actually on my bed itself, though I would basically sit up and pull up the laptop because the Wi-Fi was a little better. The Wi-Fi was very infrequent in my old house. But this house, basically, the Wi-Fi is a heck of a lot better than it was in my old house. I mean, yes, I'm not sitting in the corner, but I just call it that because it's a good name for a series. And out of all my video review series, this is by far my longest one, and the one I produce most of my videos for. Despite the fact I review anime, I have reviewed some Super Sentai. I haven't touched the series in a few years. And of course, basically, I've done reviews for movies, TV shows, novels. I still occasionally do those. I haven't done one in a little while. But mostly nowadays, the only videos you see a lot of is basically anime and comic corners. Occasionally, you might see movie reviews. Well, when it comes to this particular series. Now, to get down nitty gritty exactly what I'm going to review for this particular episode. How about two trades from Greg Pak? Yep. First up, it is a crossover he did. This, I think, is the second official crossover story he's ever done. Yeah, because the last one he did was... Actually, it's the third one because I think he did Chaos War as well. I think he did that one. I'm not sure, but I think he did do that one. And, of course, he also did World War Hulk, a very popular story. But as far as I can tell, after those two stories, he never did any other really big stories after that. Well, never been any big crossover events. But yeah, here's one that came out, believe it or not, 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago this came out. And I recently got my hands on this particular trade for it. This is the Weapons of Mutant Destruction. This collects the Weapons of Mutant Destruction Alpha number 1, Weapon X Volume 3, issues 5 and 6, and Totally Awesome Hulk number 20 to 22. Yes, of course, Greg Pak writes all the issues in here. Now, Muhammad Asrar does the Alpha one-shot. Robert Gill does the Totally Awesome Hulk issues. And Mark Barroso does the Weapon X issues. The cover art for Totally Awesome Hulk is done by Stonehouse. The Weapons Mutant Destruction Alpha One Shot and the Weapon X issues done by Scan. I think it's pronounced, yes. This picks up right where the first arc of Weapon X left off, where they basically figure out who was behind the Weapon X program. They work with the Hulk to basically track down a particular person, and they also find out where the heck this green stuff comes from. Yeah, it picks up. Yeah, like I said, pick up right particular story left off, and this is what it left to. It's a good story. Gotta love humor for Greg Pak. He's good with his humor, and some of the stuff in here is quite hilarious. So, in order to get to the vacations, we have Amadeus Cho go with Lady Deathstrike of all people, and everybody else go with Old Man Logan. Now, I should point out that the Weapon X team in the main series at this point is consisted of Old Man Logan, Sabretooth, Domino, Warpath, and Lady Deathstrike. Which, at one point in the book, she's actually dressed like the Kelly Hu version from X2 X-Men United. And of course, they will look for this thing called Batch H, which I'll review what that is in a minute. Yeah, they look for this guy named Billy because they have his brother. Well, a guy who was turned to a cyborg. Yeah, they're investigating that. And of course, they also have William Stryker. Yeah, the Weapon X program is technically the main villain of this story. But basically, just use it just to hunt him down. And it's a good, well thought out story that Greg Pak does. But the ending of this particular thing does set up stuff going forward. Like the stuff with the Hulk. He leaves he basically just leaves the team with Weapon X. The Weapon X team goes off to his own thing, his own solo title. As a matter of fact, the ending of this particular story sets up what goes on his title, which leads into World War Hulk 2 and Planet Hulk 2. That's simply put what this sets up. It sets up that particular set of storytelling. Batch H. They've used the character Weapon H, which the cast of the series of Weapon X go after him in the very next story. Very good storyline. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Now we go to follow up with Weapon X Volume 2, The Hunt for Weapon H. This collects issues 7 through 11 of the ongoing series. Written by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente. Yeah. I was surprised if Fred Van Lente basically co-wrote it with Mark Bristol and I'm Robertson on the artwork. Yeah, this picks up right where the Weapons Mutant Destruction crossover left off. Also, forgot to mention with this. Now, when the thing starts off, Logan is contacting Kitty Pryde, tells about the whole stuff, and he wants to reef the X-Men. It's like, nah, I got my own team, so we'll basically take care of it. Yeah, so the X-Men don't play a role in this particular story. So this whole story is simply put, finding out where the heck they also apparently get their own ship now because, well, I don't think they keep Amadeus Cho's ship. They probably take a ship that was his and claim it as their own base operations because they have a base now. And they spend time looking for Billy. And it's also in the storyline the whole thing behind William Stryker coming back to life. Despite the fact last time we were seeing his second coming, he got basically burned to a crisp by Hope Summers. Yeah, it's explained why he came back. He was turned to a cyborg. Yep, that was the reasoning for him coming back to life. How the heck this was accomplished? Never revealed. But at least they revealed how the heck he come back. He was a cyborg. Though he's not dead, he's still alive at the end of the storyline. And they also go after the doctor who helped made the character Billy into Weapon H, which this is technically what he looks like. He looks like the Hulk, looks like Grey Hulk with Wolverine's claws and acting a little bit like Doomsday. But he's probably the only Hulk to actually have, well, pouches. Well, on the cover anyways. They also recruit Laura to help him out because he was brainwashed. At one point, he was brainwashed to attack a plane. Well, take out a group of people. And it's here how he was brainwashed. Via the scientists who help basically turn what he is, having a needle in her mouth, and injecting his ear with it. Okay. Heck, I even like Laura. I think it was Laura or Old Man Logan basically ran into her. It's just, alright, Doc, say ah. That's probably when they removed that thing that was in her mouth. Yep. Of course, the first part of the storyline, she's basically kind of tied up with this very strange looking pair of handcuffs. The whole point of the storyline is to set up the Weapon H ongoing series, which ended after 12 issues, by the way. How long did this series last for after this one? 14 issues. Yep. This series managed to last surprisingly, yes, like I said, 14 issues. Which, yeah, not very long. The series only ended just about 8 months ago. But yeah, really good storyline. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. I'm looking forward to reading getting the trades for the rest of the series. Now, would I get the Weapon H trades? Maybe. But there's also, if you want to get the Weapon H trades, you gotta get the Hulk Marines trade as well, because, well, that particular miniseries kind of is the conclusion to this Weapon H series. Though the Weapon H series had a slight problem with it. And apparently both Marvel and DC didn't realize this. I'm sure a lot of people did realize this. I think everybody noticed this whenever the issue came out. It came out, with the exception of one issue, it came out the same day as Damage from DC Comics. Heck, they had stories that were similar to each other. Like, there's a very example of this. Like, the same week that in issue where you have Weapon H is fighting Man-Thing. In the same week, while that issue's coming out, in the page of Damage is fighting Swamp Thing. Yes. Though, my theory, the reason why both series were canceled, and I don't think it's just because of low sales, because people confuse the books to being the same book. I think a lot of people pretty much had that problem with Damage Weapon H, because both released the same week. Which, in my opinion, that was an absolute stupid idea on the part of both Marvel and DC to do, releasing both these books the same week. Now, the thing with Damage was, that was a book written by Robert Venditti and artwork by Tony Estino, who let the book out a few issues. Weapon H was written by Greg Pak, and I think that the artist who drew this, did do that whole series, because I did notice though the artist pretty much stayed the same for 12 issues. Actually, more like 14 issues. Though, just by sheer coincidence, Weapon H ended just prior to Damage. And in the Hulk Marines miniseries, they had the original Hulk, Bruce Banner, come back. Yeah, because it's a cross between Weapon H and the Hulk series. Well, the Al Ewing Hulk. The Immortal Hulk series. The original Logan. Yeah, Wolverine came back, got a chance to meet him. And of course, well, this guy here. Heck, they even issue we ran into Captain America, which also came out coinciding with Damage meeting up with Superman. Yep. One difference between Weapon H and Damage, Weapon H actually had a family. Damage had a girlfriend, but not like a wife and kids. But yeah, setting up this particular ongoing series, Weapon H, though it took a little while for it to come out. By the way, this was the cover of the first issue of the series. Yeah. Also, when this storyline ended, basically you can see that William Stryker's alive, though nothing is done with this. Yeah. This only came out just last year, I think it was. It was last year or 2 years ago this came out. This came out in... Well, yeah, these issues came out last year, but the thing with this series is, like with X-Men Gold and Blue, it came out twice a month. That's the reason why it basically was coming out so quickly. And here's the one thing I got praise about both these two particular storylines. No Greg Land in the artwork. Yeah, Land just did the first 2 issues and left. Never came back to the series. But at least the artist who replaced him did a lot better job basically drawing these characters. Yeah. So, not much else to say about these two particular trades. But as for this particular series, it's still going to continue because I've got potentially about 2 more videos I'm going to do. Yep. And both are reviewing trades I got for Comic-Con. Yeah, for these 2 particular trades, I got this as part of a deal for at least 4 for $20. I got these 2 trades, the Punisher trade, and the first time I review my next episode, which would be episode 1001. And in the case of basically why I thought the Weapon X probably ended, probably because Pac was probably done with it at that point, and probably also, and this is my personal theory, probably the sales weren't very good by the time the series ended. That's possible, but I would, yeah. When I first read about the series, like I'm like, okay, interesting. Though prior to the series coming out, Warpath was the only one who didn't do much of anything. He hadn't made a physical appearance in a comic book in about 3 years. I think his last appearance prior to this series coming out was actually back in 2012, toward the end of X-Men Volume 3. That was the last time I can think this guy showed up. Domino, she was featured in a couple other series. Of course, Logan was featured in, well, his own solo title. Sabretooth was still being featured. Lady Deathstroke hasn't done very much. I mean, her last appearance was prior to the storyline series coming out, was in the page of X-Men Volume 4, where she was briefly possessing the body of a teenager. Though she's back. No, not. Apparently she's there. Yeah, she says she says 2 bodies back. So apparently Lady Deathstroke is her 3rd body. Yeah, 3rd body. Though she's commonly described as a cyborg, but only her limbs are cybernetic. Nothing else about her body is cybernetic. Because she looks pretty human to me. Very high human, mind you. Though I thought it was so hilarious the fact that, well, you had Lady Deathstroke, a woman who basically looked like she's about 10, at least about 10 years, 15 years older than Amadeus Cho. And I'm surprised Amadeus Cho to think, though, throughout the whole story, like, damn, Lady Deathstroke is hot. Because I know all male readers probably noticed about Lady Deathstroke because she's an attractive woman. But here's the thing about her. Her original look was actually quite different than how she currently depicted. She had red hair, had like a... Because if you saw the X-Men... This is my first exposure to Lady Deathstroke, was the X-Men animated series. I mean, her hands were freaking huge. Yeah, they weren't like... Let's see, let's see if I can find a good cover for their appearance. Let's see. It wasn't like this, where her nails basically were claws. Yeah, that was not the original look for her. That was made definitive for her thanks to her appearance in the X-Men movies. Also, she had this like brownish yellow brown jacket thing which showed off her chest, kind of like a white brown pants. The only thing white she wore was basically her bandana. And this is her look from the 80s up until the early 2000s. Yeah, that was a look for a long time. And then they decided to give her the X2 look, which is an okay look, basically a black jumpsuit and the long fingernails. Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought this was a good idea to do for her to use that look in the comics. It's a good look. I like it. But I also like the original look for her. She's probably one of the very few characters I like both looks for her. The only character I don't agree with the current look is Ghost. His current look is awful. And I keep thinking though, why can't anybody point out though the Ghost current look is an awful look for him? What was wrong with his original look? Yeah. So not much else to say about these 2 particular trays, but you probably would think this would be long because this is my 1000th review, but my 1000th episode for the series. But it's about 20 minutes. But yeah, so that's it for this particular review. Next video, we soon review the newest episode of Black Clover. I'll review that and the newest chapter of the manga. Okay? See you next video. Bye.